Alright, guys, this is Unit 6. It's the last unit. This is the last unit in quarter 2. So, we definitely want to do our best in this unit, and we're going to go ahead and get started. My voice is going to sound a little bit scratchy, and we'll just have to work with it. So, for the warm-up, I'm just going to go through the answers because these are Unit 1 and Unit 2 concepts. So, negative 1.25 will be between negative 1 and negative 2. 3.5 will be between 3 and 4. And 1.75 will be between 1 and 2. And negative 0.5 would be between 0 and 1. For letter A, you're going to subtract 5 on both sides of the equal sign, and you get x equals negative 13. For letter B, I'm going to add 6 to both sides, go from left to right. 2y comes down, this goes away, equals 14, and then y equals 7. Next one, I'm going to multiply 3 on both sides. M equals negative 15. This one, subtract 9 on both sides. I get 4x equals 12, or x equals 3. Next one, we're going to move the 5x's, because remember we want to separate number terms from variable terms with coefficients. We get 7 equals negative 7x's, or x equals negative 1. The last one, we're going to have negative 4x equals negative 24, or x equals 6. And now, first we are getting into the actual lesson here. So just to review inequalities, if I'm going towards the left, it's a less than. It's a less than. And I like to put a little arrow there. Towards the right, it's greater than. And we can also just kind of figure out what these look like on the number line. It's an open circle for both of these. But over here, it's the closed circle because of the equal to part. So this is my equal to part. It's right underneath the symbol. So this is less than or equal to. This is greater than or equal to. Okay? Now we're going to write the verbal phrases for each inequality. So for the first one, we have less than, or 4 is less than 5. Next, we have greater than. 5 is greater than 4. Then less than or equal to, x is less than or equal to 5. And the last one, y is greater than or equal to 2. Okay? Moving on. Now, one of the ways I try to look at this is I look at all the numbers. I refer to the variable as all numbers less than 3. So which side? All numbers less than 3. So first of all, it's an open circle. It's an open circle because it's not equal to. It doesn't include 3. So it's an open circle at 3. And then all numbers less than 3, well, they would just be to the left of 3. All numbers less than 3 will be to the left of 3. Okay? And another way they write this is all real numbers less than 3. If I was going to do interval notation of this, going to negative infinity over here, stopping at 3. So I would have negative infinity, comma, 3. Okay? Now for the next one, it's all real numbers. My x is all real numbers. And it's greater than negative 2. So I'm going to be to the right of negative 2. It's an open circle, and I'm going to be to the right. So all my x's are to the right of this number. Okay? Let's see. Last one. Looks like all real numbers less than or equal to 1. So they're going to be to the left of this 1. So fill it in, and it's to the left. All the numbers that are less than 1 are to the left of 1. Okay? So for the next one, it's at 0, right? And it's all real numbers that are greater than 0. So those numbers are to the right of 0. Now, you try. So for 1 and 2, my 1, 2, and 3, my suggestion is you write it down. All reals greater than, so we're to the right of negative 1, right? And goes like that, right? Next one, number 2, all real numbers less than or equal to 4. It's filled in, so it's going to be to the left. Number 3, all real numbers greater than or equal to 3. It's to the right. Number 4, all real numbers less than negative 4 to the left. Okay? Moving on to the next page. So now we're going to be solving inequalities. Then we're going to graph the inequality. And I'm also going to include interval notation in that part. So first, I'm just going to rewrite. I have x plus 5 greater than 3. Solving for the x, so I'll subtract 5 on both sides. And x is greater than negative 2. So all real numbers to the right of negative 2. And this is an open circle. Okay. Sorry, guys. Next one. Number 2, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I get 2y is less than 12. Divide both sides by 2. And y is less than 6. So all real numbers that are less than 6 are to the left of 6. And this is an open circle. Number 3, it's going to be a closed circle, because it's equal to. So subtract 7 on both sides. We get 2x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. And x is greater than or equal to negative 1.5. So it's right over here, and it's a closed circle. And all numbers greater than this number are to the right. Number 4, add 2 to both sides. And 4x is greater than 12. Divide both sides by 4. X is greater than 3. So open circle, and it's greater than, so it's going to be to the right. Now, equivalent inequalities is basically saying that the symmetrical property applies here. You can flip it over, and you're going to get the same thing, no matter what. So negative 2 less than or equal to y. If I flip over the symbol, and I flip the numbers, so y goes first, and negative 2, these are the same things. These mean the same things. 7 greater than x also means x is less than 7. Okay? Um, so we're going to rewrite those equivalent inequalities. We're going to solve for our variable and then rewrite the equivalent inequality. So I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. I get negative 12 greater than or equal to 4x. Divide both sides by 4. And x of negative 3 is greater than or equal to x. The equivalent inequality would be x is less than or equal to negative 3. All I did was flip over the symbols and flip the terms. So if I was going to write this, all real numbers less than negative 3, all real numbers less than or equal to negative 3 are to the left. They are to the left. Next one, subtract 9 from both sides. Okay, and then I multiply by 2 to get the x by itself, and I get negative 6 is less than x. Circle at negative 6 is open. Alright, I'm going to write the equivalent inequality. It means x goes first, negative 6 goes last, and then I flip the symbol. And x is greater than or equal to, greater than negative 6. All the numbers greater than negative 6 are to the right. Now, there's such a thing as reversing inequalities. This is where we're dealing with dividing or multiplying by a negative number. When we're dealing with dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you must flip the symbol. Okay? So, here is why. Here is why. Negative 3 is less than 3. It's true. Negative 1 times negative 3 gives you 3, and 3 times negative 1 gives you negative 3. The statement would be false. 3 is not less than negative 3. So we always flip symbols to make inequalities true when we divide or multiply by a negative number. So we're going to see what this means. Number 9. First, I want to look at my inequality. I'm going to rewrite this. 5 minus x greater than 4. First thing I do when I have x and there's no number in front, I put a 1 there. Then I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides of this inequality, combine those like terms, right? And negative 1x comes down, greater than comes down, negative 1 comes down. Now, I want you to notice we are going to have to get rid of this negative 1. That means we're going to divide by negative 1 on both sides of this inequality. When we do, we have to, in effect, flip the symbol. It becomes x. X is less than 1. So, all the numbers that are less than 1 are towards the left. Example number 2. I'm just going to highlight the number that's going to make this symbol flip, and then we're going to go through it. So 3 plus x over 2 is less than or equal to 1. And then I subtract 3 on both sides, right? X over 2 comes down, inequality comes down, negative 2 comes down, multiply by 2 on both sides. Sorry, my negative 2 on both sides, and that's when my symbol flips, and I get x is greater than or equal to positive 4. So this is filled in, and all the values greater than or equal to this are to the right. To the right. So I'm going to do number 1, 3, and 5 with you. You can do 2, 4, and 6 yourself. Okay? So number 1, I have 6 plus x is greater than 4. Subtract 6 on both sides. X is greater than negative 2. So I put a whole open circle at negative 2. And then it's greater, so I go to the right. Let's do number 2. Change my mind. Subtract 6 on both sides. I get negative 3x greater than or equal to 9. I'm going to have to divide by this negative 3, so the symbol is going to flip. And I get x is less than or equal to 3. Negative 3, I'm sorry. So I circle and fill it in. All the values that are less than negative 3 are towards the left, and the equal to is the filled in circle. Number 3, I'm going to subtract 11x's on both sides to combine those like terms. Get negative 8x's greater than 4. Divide both sides by negative 8. And because I'm dividing by a negative 8, the symbol flips, becomes less than negative 0.5. X is less than negative 0.5. So I have an open circle here, negative 0.5, and x is less than, so it's going to be towards the left. Number 4 you can do on your own. Number 6 you can do on your own. But number 5, you're going to distribute first. Get negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, greater than or equal to negative x plus 4. Put a 1 in front of that x. Then I'm going to add 2 x's to both sides. Get 1x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, right? And I get x is greater than or equal to negative 2. X is greater than or equal to negative 2. So I put a hole at negative 2, and it's greater than, so it's going to be going towards the right. So you do number 4 and number 6. Your homework is as follows. Definitely try it out. I'll try to post the answers on Google Classroom. Have a good day, guys.